what signs do we want to look
Mhm.
for depletion, emotional depletion, spiritual depletion? What signs for are there for like burnout? When we say, boy, we can see it because one thing. Now I'm speaking. I is one, so I can say this. As a Christian leader, we have blind spots, and
Mhm.
depending on our personalities, you know, uh, Enneagram, whatever it is you're looking at, depending on who we are, we could have a really hard time seeing our blind spots. And if we don't have a set of infrastructure set up in our day to day operations and a family or if you're married, a spouse, then we don't see those blind spots. And it
Mhm.
may take someone that loves us and that cares for us as a part of our networking circle that may need to see some of those things and love us enough to
Mhm.
help us in that direction. So whether it's us as a leader or someone we love, what can we look for, Carolyn?
Yeah, well, I knew you were going to ask me this question.
Mm.
So I sat down with my little notepad here,
Oh, look at that. Almost.
and I
Oh, we
have
only have
2
5 minutes.
pages.
Woo!
I know, and
Two
I have 2 pages of
pages.
things.
Woo!
So I
Okay.
thought one thing I would say first, I'm
Yeah.
gonna read off some of these
Okay.
since we only have 5 minutes, but it's always important to keep in mind intensity and duration. So I might read a symptom on here and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I have that." Well, yeah, but how intense is that symptom and how long has it lasted? And intensity has to do with how much is it interfering with your ability to be a good parent, be a good husband, wife, be a good employee, a good boss, whatever it may be. So,
Mm.
whenever we look at symptoms, we want to look at intensity and duration. I also have a lot more hope for self evaluation than for us going around. Not if you're good friends with a leader. So, if you're good friends with a leader, you have a real into their life and you can speak into their
Yeah.
life. But if you're seeing a leader on a platform and you don't know them personally, I
Good.
don't have as much hope that being aware of those symptoms is going to do a whole lot of good. But it is good
Good.
to know who maybe we give our attention to, maybe.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me
That's
go
good. Carolyn,
quickly
before you
through.
read them, let me just say you made such a good point there. And I just want to highlight what you just said. Don't don't confuse what we're saying is, I've got a word from God to judge and to go to that leader that I really don't know very well, but after I've heard them preach 12 times or 100 times, whatever, or because they led this certain group and I really don't even know what's going on in their life, but I'm going to go speak truth to them. Uh, Careful. Don't do that. There is an intimacy level that one should have leading. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that, and I just highlight that. So go ahead.
But in yourself, these are things I came up with quickly.
Yeah.
Feel your own sense that you're feeling disconnected from God, having a loss of passion for what you do, noting that you're more irritable than is normal for you, engaging in unhealthy coping strategies for you. So it might be things like overeating, having that second or third glass of wine when you have a family history of alcoholism or something like that. Speaking of that, addictions, and those can come in all forms: pornography use, food, shopping, internet time, social media time. So, reading, getting locked away, reading a book for hours, increased insomnia, having a hard time sleeping at night, paranoia, kind of feeling like, is everybody out to get me, or people want to cause me harm? Ministry is hard work and people have a lot of criticism for you. So that's normal and that's difficult to deal with. But when you start to get paranoid, where you start to see the boogeyman behind every bush, that everybody's out to get me, everybody doesn't think I'm doing a good job, feeling like you have to fake it to make it. It's okay to do that for, it's one ministry weekend, fine, we all fake it to make it. There's just times when we wake up tired and our teenagers are acting up or our toddlers are acting up or we're caring for our elderly parents and we are exhausted. But if you're getting in a mode where you're faking and making it regularly, that's concerning. Finding yourself isolated. There's no one who you're really honest with. And Kathy, I see on there that you mentioned that pastors can't talk with everybody about what they're going through. It's not possible. It's not appropriate. They're a shepherd for a group, but do they have a group of pastors maybe that go to a different church or a therapist or friends, do they have somebody? Do you have somebody, if you're a leader, that is an appropriate person for you to be sharing where you're really honest? Like you're really honest about what you really think about your ministry, about your leaders, about your inner life, what you're feeling about God. Another way it can show up is an increase in health problems. So you get the high blood pressure, you start having bowel issues are a big red flag. We have more nerves in our bowel
Mm.
system than anywhere else in our body. And that's often one of the first places. So sorry to bring up the sensitive
No,
topic
it's
of
good.
bowel movements, but
It's good.
it happens.
Yeah.
Another one is crossing your own moral boundaries. Now, there's obvious moral boundaries that we all share, but there's individual ones that we've made for ourselves. Maybe it's the amount that we tithe, or maybe it's how we spend our time. And we've kind of committed to this moral boundary, how we treat our family. There's nuances that we're given freedom in Christ to kind of develop for ourselves. And when we start crossing those and ignoring things that we set up as important for ourselves, and how we were maybe going into debt, is that would be a good example of one. Getting in a place where we're not delegating at all,
Mm.
having a hard time finding joy, not having any safe places to share. I kind of covered that. That's a repeat.
Good.
Not, this is real practical, not wanting to get out of bed and face the day.
Mhm.
Just when you start feeling that there's going to be days like that.
I was going to say, yeah, that sounded like a Monday, is what you just said there.
Yeah.
But okay.
But when every day is a
Yeah,
Monday.
right, exactly.